Today we're diving into, well, just a single line from the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 13. Seems small, right?
Deceptively small.
Exactly. Our mission today is to unpack how this tiny verse hides a huge change in strategy, some serious physical challenges, and even political drama. So let's set the scene. The team Paul, Barnabas, and John Mark, they've literally just left Cyprus.
Right, and they're fresh off this incredible spiritual high in Paphos.
Yeah, the whole blinding of Elymas the sorcerer,
Yeah.
converting the Roman proconsul himself, Sergius Paulus. I mean, they must have felt unstoppable.
You'd think so, but this short hop by sea, Paphos to the mainland, it changes everything and almost breaks the team. And it's really about understanding the scale of this shift geographically. They're moving from Cyprus, an island mission manageable in a way, to the vast, complex mainland of Asia Minor.
Anatolia.
Okay. The voyage itself, pretty short, maybe 150, 180 miles, a day or two with good winds, probably.
But strategically.
Strategically, it's like going from a local project to a continental campaign. Suddenly you're dealing with major Roman provinces, ancient cultures, big populations. It's a whole new ballgame.
Okay, so let's get specific. They land on the coast of Pamphylia.
Yeah.
What does that mean on the ground? What kind of place was this?
Well, Pamphylia, the name itself tells you something. It means land of all tribes in Greek. Geographically, think of a narrow coastal strip. It's fertile, lots of rivers, but it's humid. And crucially, it runs right up against this immense natural wall, the Taurus Mountains.
Right, I've heard about those. Formidable.
Absolutely. And that geography immediately presents two big problems for the team.
Okay, what are they?
First, those mountains. To get anywhere inland, which was their ultimate goal, they had to cross them. And that journey was known to be incredibly tough, rugged, long.
And dangerous. Bandits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Historically prone to banditry. Just really difficult travel.
Yeah.
Second, that coastal plain itself, it wasn't exactly healthy.
How?
That humid, low-lying area was, well, it was basically known as a malaria hotspot, a serious health risk that could take anyone down fast.
So a beautiful coastline, but also kind of a dangerous doorway. They land near Perga. And it wasn't right on the coast, was it?
No, that's key. It's about 12 miles inland. But it stayed important because the Cestrus River was navigable for smaller ships right up to the city, so it functioned as the capital, the gateway city.
But still, just a landing point for them initially.
Yeah, initially. But Perga itself has this deep, rich history. It wasn't just some random port town.
Go on.
I mean, people were living there way back in the early Bronze Age. You see Hittite influences, then Hellenistic. Alexander the Great actually stopped there in 334 BC, so it had weight.
Wow. Okay.
And under Roman rule, Perga really hit its stride. It became the capital of the province Pamphylia Secunda. This was its golden age.
Meaning big buildings, investment.
Massive investment. We know about huge public works, Roman baths, fancy colonnaded streets. A lot of it funded by wealthy benefactors, interestingly, often prominent Roman women. It was a proper center of Roman power and culture.
And it wasn't just political power, was it? There's an intellectual side, too.
That's right. This is where it gets really interesting on another level. Perga was the birthplace of Apollonius of Perga.
The mathematician.
The mathematician, yeah.
Yeah.
Famous for his groundbreaking work on conic sections. So you've got this mix in Perga: Roman administration, wealth, engineering, and serious intellectual heft.
Which must have made it a challenging place from a spiritual perspective.
Hugely challenging, because alongside all that Roman and Greek influence, Perga was dominated by a very powerful, very local pagan cult.
Artemis.
Artemis Pergaeus, sometimes called Inassa the Queen. She wasn't just the Greek Artemis transplanted. She was this ancient Anatolian mother goddess figure, deeply rooted, centuries old, fiercely protected.
So trying to preach the message of Christ there would have been confrontational.
Extremely. You're not just debating ideas. You're challenging the core identity of the city and its people.
Which makes the detail in Acts 13.13 even stranger. It says they came to Perga, but the implication, and what scholars confirm, is they didn't preach there, not on this first visit anyway.
Right. They basically just passed through, used it as a stopping point, and then moved on inland.
Why? Why skip such a major city? It seems to go against the strategy of hitting population centers.
It does seem counterintuitive. There must have been a really pressing reason, an immediate priority that outweighed setting up shop in Perga.
And the likely reasons are?
Well, two main interconnected ones, it seems. One, they had their sights set on a specific high-priority target deeper inland the Roman colony of Pisidian Antioch. They needed to get there fast.
Okay, and two.
Two is the practical one we already touched on, that malaria risk on the coast.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted to get up into the mountains, into healthier air as quickly as possible.
But wait a second. If they were worried about safety and health, wouldn't heading straight into those bandit-infested tourist mountains be more dangerous than staying near a big city like Perga for a bit?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It feels like trading one danger for another, potentially worse one, disease versus bandits.
Yeah.
Doesn't immediately sound safer.
Exactly. On the surface, rushing into those mountains seems, frankly, reckless. Unless they had something else going for them, something that mitigated that risk.
Something that made the mountain journey safer than it looked.
Precisely. Some kind of guarantee or protection that made taking that gamble worthwhile. And that leads us somewhere deeper.
Okay, but before we get to that potential safety net, we have to deal with the immediate crisis that hits the team right as they make this decision to go inland.
Ah, yes, Jammer.
Such a stark, painful moment in the text. Just says, but John left them and returned to Jerusalem. No explanation, just gone.
John Mark, you cannot abandon us now. The Lord's work demands courage. Do you not see the souls waiting beyond those peaks?
And that silence hangs heavy. Later commentators even use the word desertion, which shows how serious it was viewed. This becomes the fuse for that massive argument later between Paul and Barnabas, the one that actually splits them up.
It's heartbreaking, really. He just leaves. And you have to wonder why, given the context.
We can only speculate, of course, but the context suggests a few possibilities, all tied to the sheer difficulty of what they were facing.
Like the physical hardship.
Definitely. Remember, he was Barnabas's younger cousin. Maybe the reality of that impending mountain trek, the danger, the effort was just too much. A moment of lost nerve, it would test anyone.
Or maybe illness. You mentioned malaria.
That's a strong contender. If he got sick on the coast, making that mountain journey would be impossible. Homesickness could be part of it too, wanting the security of Jerusalem, his family.
Could it have been a disagreement about the mission itself?
That's another real possibility. Maybe Mark wasn't comfortable with this sharp turn away from familiar Jewish communities towards the Gentile interior, perhaps friction with Paul's leadership style, which was clearly becoming more prominent.
Whatever the reason, fear, sickness, strategy, it's a major blow. The team fractures right when they need unity most, facing this daunting journey.
A critical moment of internal crisis.
Okay, so let's circle back to your point about why they'd risk the mountains.
Yeah.
What could possibly justify bypassing Perga and heading straight for Pisidian Antioch, despite the dangers and Mark's departure?
This is where the connection back to Cyprus becomes absolutely crucial. It all hinges on that very recent, very high-profile conversion.
Sergius Paulus, the proconsul.
Exactly. There's a really compelling historical theory, backed by evidence, that connects Paul's choice of Pisidian Antioch directly to Sergius Paulus.
How so? What's the evidence?
It comes from inscriptions found in Pisidian Antioch. These inscriptions mention a Roman official named Lucius Sergius Paulus, same family name, who served as a duumvir, a chief magistrate, basically one of the top elected officials in the Roman colony there. The thinking is this official was a close relative or maybe a client with strong ties to the proconsul Sergius Paulus back in Cyprus.
Ah, so a family connection.
A powerful family connection. And this connection is likely the key to the whole strategy.
So the proconsul, grateful for what happened in Paphos.
Almost certainly gave Paul and Barnabas a letter of introduction. Patronage. Think of it like getting a personal recommendation from the highest authority. In the Roman world, that kind of letter was gold.
What would that letter give them?
It would give them instant credibility, yes, but more importantly, protection, political cover. With a letter from a Sergius Paulus, local authorities, even Roman patrols in the mountains, would treat them differently.
So it could guarantee safe passage through those dangerous mountain areas.
It dramatically increases the odds, yes. It ensures they're not just random travelers, but people connected to a powerful Roman family. They'd likely be welcomed in Pisidian Antioch, given lodging, maybe even resources. It's leveraging the Roman system itself.
That's brilliant, actually. A calculated move using the empire's own networks.
Utterly brilliant. It shows a sophisticated understanding of how power worked. They were using the aristocratic connections they just made to facilitate the mission's next phase.
So, piecing it together, skipping Perga wasn't just about avoiding malaria or Artemis's cult. It was a strategic trade-off.
Precisely. They traded the risk of lingering on the coast disease, potential confrontation for the calculated risk of the mountain journey, because they had this political ace up their sleeve.
This letter of introduction, this patronage, was their safety net for the mountains and their key to opening doors in Pisidian Antioch.
Exactly right. It explains the speed, the directness, and the willingness to bypass Perga. They had a specific high-value target and, crucially, a protected pathway to get there.
Wow, so looking back at this one verse, Acts 13.13, it's so much more than just they sailed from Paphos and came to Perga.
Oh, infinitely more. It encapsulates a major strategic pivot, immense physical danger, a moment of team crisis with John Mark, and this incredibly shrewd political maneuvering using Roman networks.
It really shows how history can turn on these seemingly minor transit points.
It does. The journey itself was the strategy. Leveraging that connection from Sergius Paulus allowed them to bypass the immediate coastal dangers, both disease and the entrenched paganism of Perga, and aim directly for an influential Roman colony where they knew they had an in. It was high-stakes, calculated movement.
And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. How often do we focus only on the destination and forget the importance of the journey, the transitions? Or maybe how often do we underestimate the networks, personal, professional, maybe even political, that actually enable us to navigate challenges?
That's a great point. That Roman family connection, secured in Cyprus, was the invisible infrastructure that made the next difficult step possible. It wasn't just about faith. It was about faith working through the practical realities of the world they lived in.
A lot hidden in just one verse. Thanks for unpacking that with us.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating piece of the puzzle.
Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.